We're back again.
Guess who's back? I think we did that already.
You did that last week.
That's what it reminds me of.
But what I didn't do for the last 2 episodes was say, I'm Selene Castrovilla.
And I'm Pascale.
Yes. So thank you for listening. This is our 7th episode.
Woo!
We got a woo woo. And we've got a very exciting episode. We're going to talk about recovery, like stories from recovery, 12-step missteps maybe. But before we get into that, of course, I'm going to do a mini segment. And this one is going to be a WTAF. Do you all remember what that is?
I didn't.
Should I say it then?
Sure.
What the actual fuck? So this one is a strange thing, okay?
Oh, that's just my kind of thing.
Yes. Something happened on August 7th, 1994 that I don't think you could guess if I asked you to guess. It's something to do with, I can't even tell you. I can't even figure out how to make you guess. So
That's
I'll just
right
tell
after
you.
my birthday.
Yes. Well, you wouldn't want this on your birthday. Okay, so there's a place called Oakville. It's in Washington, okay? And on August 7th, 1994, all of a sudden, it was raining. It rains a lot there, something like 275 days out of the year. But this time, it wasn't water.
Oh, God.
What do you think it was?
Oh, I don't even know. What could it rain?
It was gooey, like a gel-like substance that they called blobs.
Ew. What? Where did it come from?
That's the question. There's something very troubling about it more than anything, which I'll get to, which is the real reason I want to talk about it. These were, they called them blobs, but they really were very small. They were like, each one was the size of a half a grain of rice, apparently.
Oh.
So I'm not sure why they called it blob, but this is what the people there called it.
How could they even tell it was gel-like substance if it was
because
that
so much fell and they saw it. No, they saw it all piling around.
Oh,
there was a
wow.
lot of it. It was just in little
Right.
grain, like half a grain is pretty small.
Oh, my.
And it was not a healthy thing. A woman touched it, and immediately she got very, very sick to her stomach. She had vertigo. She was very ill, and she had to be hospitalized for 3 days. They said she had a severe inner ear infection, but it had to be the stuff because it happened right after she touched it. And anybody else that came in contact with it also got sick. And here's the sad thing. It killed a lot of animals.
Oh, my God.
It
really?
killed livestock. This is really sad. It killed a little baby kitten.
Oh.
Yeah, like they must have licked it or something, and they died. A dog licked one before someone could stop it, but the dog survived. So this happened not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 times within 3 weeks. Okay?
Really?
Yes.
That's bizarre.
I know. The woman that got sick, her name was Dottie Hearn, and her daughter took her to the hospital, and her daughter was a nurse or something. She was something like what she knew, like, I'll bring these samples of this so they can test it. And when they tested it at the hospital, they saw what they thought were human white blood cells in it. They couldn't figure out anything more than that. It was actually featured in Unsolved Mysteries. That's not where I heard it, though. I heard it on So Supernatural. It's a podcast by Ashley Flowers, who also does Crime Junkie, among other things. And I like it. So she sent it to like 3 different agencies to try to analyze it. She didn't hear back from 2 of them. And then the third one, this guy's name is Mike McDowell. He's a microbiologist, okay? And he was with the Washington State Department of Health, okay? So the bigwigs. And when he examined it, he noted that it was filled with 2 species of bacteria, one of which lives in the human digestive system, but they can both make you very sick. So some people were thinking it was human waste from an airplane, which, yuck. I kind of just was thinking it was like alien goo or something.
Oh, I went alien, too.
But they ruled out that it could. Not only are airplanes not allowed to do that in the middle of the thing, they have to wait till they land, but say they did. Waste from a plane is all dyed blue, so they knew it was definitely not waste from a plane. Some people thought it was jellyfish, like pieces of...
How would jellyfish rain from the sky?
Because there were military like ships, I guess it's on the water, it is Washington, and they saw military ships like blasting there, so they thought maybe if they blasted maybe jellyfish. Why would it only be jellyfish? Why wouldn't it be pieces of all fish?
Right.
And also, it was like little. I don't know.
That makes no sense.
And also, it was really. They decided there was scientific reason why it wasn't that, but I can't recall what it is. Maybe it's the bacteria or something. Oh, and someone else found an actual nuclei in it, which said it proved that it was either alive or had been alive, but not jellyfish.
Definitely aliens.
I think it might be. Well, okay. Here's the crazy thing. Okay.
There's a crazy thing.
Yes. This is the part that intrigues me. Mike McDowell was determined to figure this out. He had a whole bunch of stuff he was doing, but he went home for the night, and he came back and his samples were gone. He was like, did someone move my samples? They're like, don't even ask.
What do you mean, don't even ask?
It means they've been ordered to act like they never existed.
By the government?
That's the implication.
Aha.
Yes.
Aliens.
Well, it could be, but why was it only 6 times in 3 weeks and then never again?
I don't know. Aliens are weird.
But it had a nuclei in it. Do aliens have nuclei?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that is, really. I hate science. I could describe it if you want me to, I can write a beautiful description of it, but science, I don't get.
Yeah, it doesn't interest me either.
So it's definitely some sort of conspiracy to keep it quiet, right?
Yeah.
Mike was upset, but I guess he told somebody. He was told not to ask because he's reported it to the people. But what the townspeople think, by the way, it was a very small town. It was like population 674 or something.
Isn't it always?
Yeah. So they think that the government was testing some sort of biological weapon on them, like to see what would happen, see if they could use it in warfare or something. And they figured use this little town that, I guess nobody cares about. I don't know.
Wow.
Maybe they just figured they're never going to test this stuff. They'll just walk away from it. If that one person hadn't brought in the samples, they wouldn't have ever had any. There's no evidence of it now. It's all gone. And so it hasn't happened again. And so these people said they saw slow-moving government vehicles, like a lot of going on with the government around there. So they really do think they were part of a military experiment.
I guess that's possible, but it would be way more interesting if it was aliens. I know I've said that 100 times now.
Well, I don't know. I don't. Do you really believe in all this alien stuff?
Not really.
Because also, isn't it better if we don't know about aliens?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because they're going to kill us. Howard Stern is so right about this. He says we don't want to know them, we don't want to see them, because they're going to take over and kill us.
It's true. If we found a planet with life that we were more superior to, we would destroy that planet.
Well, you and I wouldn't, for sure.
No.
We'd be friends.
But
yeah.
There were a lot of people on this planet.
Oh, yeah, they're horrible.
That would want to gut that planet.
Oh, my God. Take it for everything.
Yes.
Especially because they've destroyed this one. They need a new one.
Right. So why wouldn't we think that they would do that to us?
Right. Well, I think they would. Well, remember Howard was talking about an episode of, what's that show? The Twilight Zone. Yeah. And he said there were these aliens and they had a book. It was called How to Serve Man.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's so nice. But it was a cookbook.
Yeah. I remember that episode.
So I think we should just stay away from all that stuff. I think a bunch of crabs died at the beach, too.
Really?
Because it landed on the beach. And I guess, those crabs, they migrate, or what is it called? They mate. Maybe it was mating time.
Maybe.
They saw like hundreds of dead crabs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. I just was interested. I think the most interesting part of it is why does the government cover up so much? Like, why? Like, because we know that they do cover. They definitely had alien files that they weren't sharing, and they supposedly opened them. But why were they hidden to begin with? Like, what's the problem?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure the government hides a lot from us.
But why?
I don't know.
Just to do it?
To keep us under control?
Wow. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
But why would knowing about aliens not keep us in control? You mean we'd be upset?
I don't know.
But they're more upset because people get more upset when they don't know something and they know that something's being withheld.
I know, but let's think about this. If it was suddenly announced that there were aliens, remember that, who did that story? I believe it was in the 50s.
Oh, the War of the Worlds.
Yeah. And people thought it was real.
Well, that was ridiculous, too.
Right, but people freak out.
Well, those people were dumb.
I'm not disagreeing with you. But people tend to freak out about things. Look at what happened with COVID and the toilet paper. I mean, honestly, was that necessary?
No.
What was it about toilet paper?
I didn't hoard toilet paper. I just needed some. I couldn't get any.
Right. But like what happened there?
I know. Well, you're right. Well,
because people lose their shit.
I don't see the correlation between COVID and it's not like toilet paper is your great defense.
There was none.
Okay. So we're going to talk about recovery, which is what they call 12 steps. Like all these kind of meetings are called recovery. Like you're in recovery. Mm-hmm. Well, because you didn't remember, you didn't know what I was talking about when I said we're going to talk about recovery the other day.
I didn't?
No.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
So, look, recovery helps a hell of a lot of people, and I'm not putting it down, but my experiences are a little different. Of course, I drag Pascale to a meeting.
Yeah, I'm the kind of person that if you're my friend and you want to go somewhere, even if I think that place is not for me, I will go. I will experience anything once.
Yeah.
Well, not everything, but I'll go with you for support. Do I find it ridiculous usually? Yeah, I absolutely do. But if you're my friend, I'm going to support you, damn it.
Well, okay. So I just want to say before I start saying my comments, it definitely is wonderful for a lot of people. And then actually, in a very bad time in my life, it did help me briefly. But the overall thing about recovery is no one ever recovers. They're just like in recovery. They just go to these meetings. It's like the meetings become their addiction.
Yes, but the weird thing is not all the meetings are for addicts.
No, I was going to Al-Anon,
I was going with you to Al-Anon.
But it was a because your family, like my father was a heroin addict, so
yes, and I also had an addict in my life.
Yeah,
at the time and still today.
That's true.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. So, but the people, I think they're addicted to dealing with the addict or something or something. There's some sort of weird addiction going on in Al-Anon too. They're addicted to the meetings for sure. They just don't leave.
They really are.
They love those meetings. They carry around the little books.
Yes. And they become like a clique.
Yeah, I would have definitely not going to be in a clique. But I bought the little books and I did the readings. I'm like, but oh my God. First, I as a writer, I expect creativity. I expect originality. Their sayings are just so cliched. Like, of course, the most famous one day at a time. Yeah.
It reminds me of, there used to be this commercial on TV, and it must have been for some sort of gospel music, but it was like, one day at a time, sweet Jesus.
Oh, dear.
Does anybody remember that, or is that just me?
I know.
Sorry, I'm a really bad singer, by the way. Sorry.
No, you're fine. One day at a time. Well, I just think of the show, but also like it's so cliched. You hear it all the time. Show. Yeah, but it's just it's like I like it when they say in Rent, "No day but today." It's like see, that's original.
Oh no, the 12-step sayings are the equivalent of that poster with the cat that says "Hang in there."
Yes. Like here I'm reading a few of them. First things first. Really? Progress, not perfection. This too shall pass. Now, okay. You'll love this one. Cultitude and attitude of gratitude. That's actually that's more original, but I know you must laugh at that.
Oh,
right?
I hate that. That is stupid.
Well, wait.
I shouldn't say stupid because it does help people, but it is not for me.
I forgot what this one woman said. It was so funny. I have to think about it. Just for today. This one I like. Take what you can use and leave the rest. That's helpful. All right,
don't look I'm giving you. Right?
Well,
I'm sorry.
I think I practice life like that now. I definitely got some useful tools like to redo my thinking. Because I don't, believe me, if I didn't take what I wanted and leave the rest at those meetings, I wouldn't have lasted through one.
I agree. I definitely agree. And like I said, they do help people. They're just not for me.
And I wasn't. Well, the last one is live and let live. Really? Come on. All right. But anyway.
I don't like hokey inspirational quotes.
Yeah, I don't even know. I know.
I don't like them.
No, they need to be. Something needs to be original. Needs to be like sassy. Like some sort of
I
a
know,
grit
but
to it.
once again, people love it. It gives them some sense of peace.
Oh my God!
And I'm glad it does.
But is it? But
I
but,
wish
but
it did
are,
for
but
me.
are they getting peace? Because they seem so miserable.
Oh, the people at those meetings did
Yeah.
seem very miserable.
Yes.
They were, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Is it like what's going on? Like I think I just don't. And is there any progress? I know they call it progress, not perfection, or something. Is that what they
Yes.
want?
I mean, but let's be real. If you have an addict in your life, most likely your life is miserable.
Yeah, but
because they suck you dry.
well, but Al-Anon is supposed to be like helping you cope with that and everything.
Yes. And I'm not saying I have no sympathy for the addict. I understand it's a disease, but dealing with it is exhausting. That's what I found.
Well, of course, but still, I mean, this meeting is. I don't see anybody really finding relief. They sort of it's very organized. Like they do everything. First of all, these 12 steps. First of all, people in Al-Anon never actually do the steps. I've never met anybody that did them.
It's funny because in Alcoholics Anonymous, they absolutely do the
Oh
steps.
yeah, well I wound up doing the steps because my boxing coach is the one who suggested I go to recovery, and he's in AA and he became my sponsor, and boy did he give me, like, I will say, like, that was, I think the 12 steps themselves, I think that everyone should try them because they do help you sort of take stock of yourself, and some of it, I don't know. The problem I have with it is the religious part of it. And they'll say they're not religious.
Right, it's a higher power.
Well, higher power is religious. What
You're
is
preaching
it?
to the choir.
So at the time, I just I rejected anything like that, right? And now all of a sudden I had to accept it. So I think the first step is believe, like something about believe there's a higher power or something like that, and that you don't have any control, and that surrender
Right, you have to give
it.
yourself over. Yeah.
So I actually did that, right? It was not easy, okay, because I really didn't believe in all that stuff. So all of a sudden I'm like, and once you surrender to a higher power, it needs a name, so you might as well call it God, because what else a name? It's
Right.
I mean, God is just a name somebody put on this thing, and so I started talking to him, and I see everything as masculine. I don't know why. Every dog I see is a boy. Every cat. Maybe because I have two sons. I don't know. But I was talking to him. I was praying. I was like, and that's why I feel so betrayed, because I actually, like, I got led to this. I got pulled into this whole relationship with God, and I actually was getting signs. Okay, and but then God like shanked me, like killed me, like took my son. So like now I'm so angry because, like, why did you drag me to this and make me believe in you and then just to destroy me? Like, so mean. That's not nice. So I don't understand these people that are like, oh, just pray, like they have these tragedies and they somehow think there's a reason. God, the reason is God is mean. That's what I think.
I would say so. I mean, horrible things happen to people. Horrible things.
Yeah. But anyway, so all this to say, that's how I wound up in recovery, because my boxing coach sent me there, and doing the steps was very helpful. I actually had been making amends to people, like, instinctively before that, and people like, "What do you even want? Leave me alone."
I know, but I think the steps are very helpful. It helps you be accountable.
Yeah.
It helps you with your relationships. I think.
Yeah.
I think it can be, and it helps you personally.
Yeah.
I think they're good.
They are, but the problem is, I would say they definitely, people I've encountered in AA and the more life-threatening kind of groups, they do them, but in Al-Anon nobody did them.
No, definitely not.
And what are you having these meetings about when you're not even following the thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it's strange. And so we met a guy there.
Oh God.
And I don't know what happened. Like, well, did I meet him first without you?
You met him first. By the way, who in his life was an addict? I never found that out. I knew him for years, and I didn't know why he was there. Everybody else I knew.
I don't know who was in that. Well, we're not giving his name, but he did have an addiction of some kind.
Right, but
I think he
Al-Anon
liked
is
that.
for-
I know, but he liked Al-Anon better because it was easier, I guess, because no one's forcing him to do the steps. I guess.
Okay.
I guess he might have had an addict too, but like he had he had huge issues with his mother, as you know.
Oh yeah, of course.
But he lived with her, so that because and but he, I definitely had stuff going on, and I feel weird talking about it, even though we're not giving his name, but he had a whole different thing going on, like that you wouldn't even get, one time he just revealed it, like I'm like, oh my God, this is so creepy.
What?
Well, we were eating in a restaurant, and the waitress, came by or something, and then he said something like he had like a sex addiction, and
So he said something inappropriate about the waitress.
It was so creepy that I just I looked at him like, I can't believe that's going on in his mind. Like, and what's he thinking about me? You know what I mean? Like, what's going on with this guy?
I have to say, he never said anything like that.
It was
around
just this
me.
crazy thing. Like,
he said all sorts of crazy stuff.
Someone
but not
lets it
that.
drop out once. You know what I mean? Then it's like, what is going on in this person's head?
Yeah.
But I don't know. But so what happened was he started like he was always at my house. He was hanging out all the time, and then I don't know. At a certain point, I was like done with him or something. Like I don't know what I did, but like I must have put up I must have learned a boundary. But then he was all over. Then he was all over you. What happened? He met you. How did he meet you? Like at my house?
We must have met through you, because why would?
Well,
I
you could
meet
have
him?
met him at a meeting. You came.
He
to
was
me.
at those
Oh.
meetings,
Okay.
but I met him when I was with you.
Yeah, but
I
we
don't
might have been
remember
talking
where.
because we used to talk outside. So you might have met him there,
Yes,
but he just like latched onto you then.
He found out that I worked in the library of the town that he lived in.
Yeah.
So he would come in every Saturday, and this is how bad I am. We would have lunch every Saturday because I'm sure I've mentioned this, am queen of, it's probably not right to call them crazy, but
No.
people
yeah.
People who have issues seem to gravitate towards me, but I accept their issues.
Right. That's what you have to put the boundary wall up.
Right. I try not to judge them, and but yeah, I'm not good with putting up boundaries. Apparently, I've gotten better.
I guess I did because he sort of left me alone. Like, it wasn't like I said, let's not be friends anymore or anything.
Right.
I think I was no longer acting at it to his whim. Like if he I wasn't going to drop everything and hang out, or I wasn't going
Right.
to do this and that. And he wanted, so he went to you. So
He did, and I tend. Not only do they tend to be drawn to me, but I also enjoy people that are very quirky.
Okay. So you're saying you liked hanging out with him?
We had fun.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't have gone out to lunch with him every Saturday if I didn't think he was interesting.
Okay, so then there really was no. I thought you kind of got tired of it.
I did eventually get tired of it.
Yeah, he kind of talked about a lot of the same things a lot.
Yes, and at some point he came to my house. I don't know how the hell that happened.
Really?
He did.
Huh.
And
That's interesting.
I usually don't invite the quirky people to where I live.
That is odd.
I don't know how that happened.
He looked like Billy Squire if he was really messed up.
Oh, yeah. He kind of had that 70s New York CBGB.
Yeah, he had like a leather jacket.
Right, but like modern day, like it didn't quite fit the times.
And very like, I don't like weather beaten.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like he transported to this time from that.
Yeah, it's true. He did not want to accept society for what it was. I think he was caught in that time.
Yes.
Yeah. He definitely had a problem with society. How dare it move on?
Yes. He really did.
Yeah, he just couldn't function.
No,
All he did was go to meetings. Like he didn't work.
he did. Right. Yeah, he had no job.
Nothing.
And I always used to wonder how he could afford lunch every
He
week.
probably got disability.
I guess so.
Yeah, I don't know. But I never asked him where he got his money from, but he didn't work. And
I didn't ask him either. And I also, like I said, I never asked him who in his life had this issue.
yeah, well, maybe someone did, but he definitely
He never mentioned it.
No, well, I don't know who he had, but I know I know he it was easier for him. It was just it was too hard to go to AA because they really push you.
Yes.
You know?
And also, they become friends, the people at these meetings.
They do. Well, yeah, but at Al-Anon they were becoming they were hanging out.
Yes.
Yeah,
They definitely were.
I used to go to the AA meetings that were open, and then I wasn't going to say. I wasn't an alcoholic, so I wouldn't say I'm an alcoholic, anyway. But even if I don't like to, I wouldn't label myself. So even if I was, I wouldn't say it. So I just said, when they went around the room, they say, so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic. And I just said, I'm Selene. And I don't think I said anything. And I was like, they all looked at me like I was crazy.
Well,
But why do you have to label? I don't think it's very good to, okay. When you're saying something, that's a, oh, for God's sake, what's that word? It's a mantra, right? You're kind of saying, you're kind of calling it to be by saying it. And I'm not going to say something about myself that I don't want to be. Now, I'm not an alcoholic anyway, but I used to go, should I reveal where I used to go to the other one?
that's an interesting one.
Well,
Do you
okay.
really want to tell everybody that? Think about it before you do.
Now,
Because
Okay.
you asked me to go with you once, and I did. And
did you go to that with me?
I did once, and it was super awkward because one of my son's friend's father sat right across from me.
Oh, that would be.
And he used to come to the library all the time. It was so awkward.
I don't remember bringing you to that.
Once again, if you ask me to go, I'll go.
All right. Well, look, I was desperate to be loved. I was very desperate. Like having a father for a heroin addict, it's just like, it's like he loves that more than me, whatever. And he was never there, anyways. I was just desperate. It's like some women are just like so desperate for love. And my love was not, I mean, I was dating. I was in a relationship with Tripp, and that was explosive in many ways. And because I would accept anything because I wanted love. So I was like accepting bad behavior because I was so desperate that I didn't want to lose him. So there's this group called Sex and Love Addicts Anonymous, which is such a stupid idea to put the sex people with the love people, because the sex people will eat the love people alive.
Right. They're two very different
I
things.
don't know why they did that.
I don't know.
And also, when you go to a co-ed thing, it's very bizarre. You know?
Like I said, I've never been that uncomfortable in my life.
I didn't take you to the one in Long Beach, did I?
I believe it was.
Oh my, because
Beach.
that group was like almost all men.
It was very weird. Plus, I really didn't have that issue. I felt
Right.
very.
Why did I make you come to that?
I don't know. You asked me to come, so I went.
But it should have been an open meeting, I guess. If I don't know,
I guess, but
because they always want. I refused to say I was a love addict because I'm not going to say that.
yeah.
So people kind of resented that I wouldn't say it. But yeah, it was really hard having all these men around. The men are talking about totally weird things. Like, flirting. They were flirting with themselves. What the hell does that mean?
I don't know.
It's like, hey, how you doing in the mirror? Like, what is that?
I have to say, I found the whole thing, and I'm sorry. I know people have that issue, but it creeped me out.
Yeah, because I didn't really understand what sex addiction was, and I realized it later. Like, yuck, like it's like the opposite of me for sure. Like, because I'm all about love,
Yeah.
and sex addiction is like devoid of love. It's like,
Right. Well, that's why they shouldn't have those two meetings
they
together.
they don't belong together.
No, because they're two completely separate problems.
It's very strange. And yeah, and like even when sometimes I found a women's group finally, and even the sex ones the women were so weird compared, like they're not weird, but they had totally different problem than me, and it was really a strange thing.
Yes.
So I would go, but I guess I was just looking for someplace to talk to people. That was the thing.
Well, you're thinking you're going to find people like-minded people.
I didn't. Yeah, but I didn't make friends with anybody there. Forget it.
No.
Like they had a phone number list, and I'm like, I'm not putting my phone number on that list.
Oh, I would not. I would most
And
certainly
because
not.
I didn't vibe with them, you know. And the really thing about me is that I recovered. Like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not, but I'm not a love addict. I'm so happy to be alone. I'm so done with dating, and I just don't care anymore. Everybody can go after them. Well, we can fuck themselves. And I forgot we curse. But like, why I am so free. But it wasn't just the 12 steps, but that definitely was like a starting point for me.
Right.
And I had to go like, I just kept like going my own way. Honestly, my chiropractor helped me a lot. He used to talk to me.
Yeah.
If you read Lunar Rising, the conversations with my chiropractor are all real. And I think did I talk about going to the meetings in that book?
I don't remember.
I think I did, or maybe it got edited out. I don't know, but I think I did. Yeah, because I think that's how I meet my boxing coach in the book. I think I
Right.
meet him at the meeting. But yeah, so, but I think in the end, those were all tools that I used to finally, ultimately, you kind of have to do it yourself.
Right.
But what I noticed about most people is they just keep going. It's not like you got to do the work. They're not doing any work. Even in AA, it's not like I've been to a million of them, but I've been to a decent amount of those meetings. And those people, like, yes, they really bond. They have the party. I can understand having the parties because nobody wants to drink, anything like that. 'Cause I went to a party. I'm like, can we drink? What's happening?
No, we can't drink. These poor people have an addiction.
I think at the time I wasn't drinking because for weight reasons. Yeah. But then with Trip, I finally had to drink. Remember that day when I had to drink? We went to pawn shows.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh my God. He drove me to drink. And I'm drinking. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. I forgot how good it is.
Yeah.
But I'm not an alcoholic. I can have a drink and stop, so I understand that it's a real problem. It's a huge problem. I didn't understand because having a father that's a heroin addict, I was like, pussies, what's the big deal about alcohol, right? And
alcohol can be just as bad.
Well, then I saw Leaving Las Vegas, and not only that was a boring ass movie, but man, that man died in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny enough because my aunt's husband died of alcoholism in Vegas, which I forgot. I kind of put it out of my mind. Yeah. So he literally did what that guy did in the movie. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean, it happens.
But I just didn't take it seriously because heroin is,
Well,
it was awful. Like, it just sucks. It just, in case you were wondering.
yes,
but,
I've known heroin addicts. It's very ugly.
But being the child of a
sad.
heroin addict is so bad because
I can't imagine.
But he was nice, he was a nice guy. And I was like, well,
Right.
if he's nice, then there must be something wrong with me if he doesn't want to be with me, because a kid,
Right. You don't understand as a child that their problem is their own.
I know, but then my mother would say like, oh, he's an asshole, whatever she said. I don't think she's an asshole, but like your father, you can't count on him. He's da-da-da. I remember the night that it really sunk in. He was supposed to take me to the Halloween parade in the city, and he didn't show up. And she was like screaming in the background about him. And I'm like, and I'm sitting there in my costume, and it was awful. And so you can't blame me for searching for love. Like I just got set off on the wrong path. Oh, and soap operas didn't help either.
No, but
Come on.
I mean, there should be a group for women because it happens to so many women.
Yeah.
So many women get into relationships where they accept insane behavior.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I read a book called Women Who Love Too Much. That was pretty good. I don't know. I all I could say for me is I never made it. I never bonded with anybody at any of them really, except for this person. I don't know, but I just think that it becomes sort of like a caricature kind of situation when because these people are all sort of similar, and they're like they're just like it's like they just want to talk about the problems, but they're not actually taking the actions to do anything about it.
Right. Well, that's the big problem, and that's why they'll never get out of that group.
Yeah. I just, well, I mean, the AA people don't drink pretty much. But they've transferred their addiction to these meetings. Like they live that 12-step life. That's all they do. When they read those books all the time. Like they have the big book, right?
Yeah.
And there's books for everything. Everybody has their own books. But it's like their lifestyle, and I'm like,
I guess I could kind of understand if you're trying to stay away from something that has such a big pull.
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna make that your whole life just to talk about that?
Maybe
Like
to
it's the same.
survive.
I mean, I guess it's the same thing as religion when people talk about Catholicism all the time or anything. See, I don't relate to that because I don't do one thing like that. I can't. That's why it's one major reason why I can't even deal with religion. In fact, there's many reasons, but the sheer redundancy. It just goes on and on. I'm like, okay, I'm done here. Like I can't. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I want to talk about something else. But the really religious people, that's like, they're like, God bless you and this and that, and it's enough already. This is getting all my opinion. I don't. It's just my crazy observations. Like I'm just, I'm honest. But I mean, people want to be. Of course, religion is fine if you love it, but it's not for me. And I just find it like limiting. Okay, I find all these things limiting because if you're only looking at that, you're missing all this other stuff.
Yeah.
That's my problem with it. And I can't stand being limited. I want to look at all the possibilities of everything. That's I think that's what I don't know. I don't know if it makes me a writer or the writer in me is the reason why I feel that way. Probably, I don't know. But I've always known I was a writer from when I was a little kid, and even when I didn't really understand what it was, I just knew it. And I held a pencil and I knew I was going to use it. It's crazy, but I did. And I don't understand why people that say, even the people that say they're bored, what are you, crazy? There's 20,000 things for you to think about. You could just think. Why aren't you thinking?
I don't know.
And when you start thinking about it, whenever you think of one subject, right, you think of it in a different way, a different time, It's like seeing a movie that you love. You're going to have different thoughts about it every time.
Yes.
Right. So, but when people talk like the 12 steps, like Al-Anon, it was not this. It was not. Everybody talked about things exactly the same way every time. I was one of the few people. I used to have way more outlandish shares than anybody else. And I think, they probably were like, what the hell? But I'm not going to sit here. They read a passage from the book and then they say something, they share something that goes with it. And like, it's always the same crap with them. Like, I was like, what is going on here?
I have to say, one of my least favorite parts of that, and I had many parts I did not enjoy, was they would pass that thing around and everybody had to read one. And I was like, I feel like I did this in second grade. I really...
Oh, the steps, what do you mean?
They passed it around and everybody had to read one, but I'm like, we do this every week.
I know. Well, that's what I think they're trying to create a routine like for...
some people need that.
But they have these very strict rules like about everything. And it's like, do we really need this? I don't need that in my life either. Like, I guess, well, being a writer too, I kind of ruleless, like I kind of like, I really don't conform with society, but I'm not mad at society like our friend was, like I'm just like, well, society, whatever, but I'm just going to do things my way,
Right.
I choose this. I call myself a semi-bohemian because I don't want to be completely bohemian, like in Rent with like squatting in a building. That's not for me. Right. But I can't really conform at all. I mean, I'm definitely bohemian more. Like if I had to pick one, I'd be bohemian, but no, I'm not. I like money. Like I don't focus on money. Like that's not a goal, but I know I need it in order to continue what I'm doing.
Right.
So that's why I need money. But I have no, don't get me wrong. I mean, I want my books to be a success, but it's even more because I want people to read them.
Yeah.
It's not the money. If the money is something I need to live, to pay my taxes, the various things, oh my God, the school taxes are insane. Oh my God. Like
it's really weird too, because you live in a town that doesn't even have a high school.
No, well, the kids go somewhere. They pay that high school.
Oh yeah, duh. Oh my God, I'm so stupid.
The kids
You'll have to excuse me. That was a very stupid thing to think.
Do you think the kids just don't?
Yes.
They act like they haven't got a high school education sometimes, but they do.
Really, should I not have known this? My kids went there.
Yes. So they have to go. They had the choice, but now I think they can only go to Long Beach now.
Yes.
But
excuse me, that was a very dumb moment.
It's very expensive, the education stuff, and that's a whole other topic. But I mean, it's outrageous to the amount of taxes. So I have to, I definitely have to earn my keep somehow. But on the other hand, I just like satisfied. Like, do I have enough money for a piece of fish? Good, because I don't know how to fish. And I don't think you can catch any salmon where I live.
No.
Then that's really almost all. I bought something called swai.
The hell is that?
I don't know, but it was $4.
Was it good?
I didn't eat it yet. It's SWAI.
I have
And then
never heard of that.
Okay, and then in parentheses it says baza. That's a clarification.
I have never heard of that.
I don't know, but it kind of looks like tilapia,
Okay.
but longer. And it was a lot in the package for $4, so I could share it with my dog. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Because he loves fish. You know, I share all my meals with him because I eat salad, you know.
I share my meals with him when I go there.
That's right. Well, why not?
He's adorable. He
Yeah.
can get what he wants.
Absolutely. Well, it's healthy for him. People pay a lot of money for that people food for dogs. Like they pay a fortune.
Yeah.
But I just feed it to him, you know.
Yeah.
He has his kibble, but he has all that stuff too. But they rip you off. It's like the same food that you could just make yourself, you know. But anyway, that's a totally different topic. But anyway, so I just don't relate to the world at all because we're a capitalist society and I'm not a capitalist, you know. So, and I think I kind of resent what people get famous for these days and like for doing hard, like crazy things or nothing or going hak tui.
What is her podcast called? I think
It's called
Talk Tui.
Yeah. Like, okay, well, you know.
Have we really come to this?
Apparently, I'm glad that Kamala didn't go on that one.
Oh my God.
But in any case, you know, whatever. I'm beyond even. I don't want to even resent things, or I certainly don't want to hate because that just occupies space in my mind that doesn't need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, like today I had some major annoyances, but then you know, whatever. I'm just gonna let this go, and I'm going to just enjoy my life. So but it's funny because the people in recovery, they let everything bother them. You know, like
They do, but they never move past it.
never. It's the same complaints every time.
But if you don't move past it, the other bad stuff is just going to pile on top of that.
And they talk about things in the past all the time.
Yes.
Like I like a lot of little sayings in my house, but they're more original, I think. But I have one, it's not that original, but it says, don't stumble over something behind you.
Yeah.
Which I like. And I think that would be a good one for them to have there. Like it, because people definitely live in the past there. Like I guess I did too I had childhood trauma. I guess I was not thinking about it, but it was there. So it's a little different. Like they know it's there and they just keep rehashing it over and over again. And like, well, I think there's a time to stop talking about this stuff and move on because like, otherwise you're just going to be stuck in this forever.
Right. And it's not good for you.
I don't think so. But so recovery again, like I definitely think people should try this. You got to really do the steps. So except that surrendering thing was a bitch. But I don't know if I could do it now because I'm so like I have a problem with God. Like I'm not going to be surrendering to anybody. But I think it did help me. But I don't think I would ever do that again.
I wouldn't. I have a problem with groups. I don't like joining any kind of group. I feel very boxed in by other people, and I don't like it.
Well, you don't like. All right. I like to go to writing groups, like for something, not something like recovery, but something you like say there was a Nirvana group or something or whatever. You know,
No,
you wouldn't.
I'm not interested.
See, I do like, but it depends because it depends on the people in the group. Like sometimes if people are like, you know, if they're not creative, like they don't. I'm not meaning they have to be a writer. Like you're not a writer, but we never run out of things to say to each other, you know. But they have to be sort of free thinking and like just like innovative and you know. But a lot of the people that join groups join it because they're not that and they need something to fill the space in their life with.
Well, you know how I feel about that.
Well, I know, and I don't want that either. But like when I go to writers groups, it also depends on you have to find some people at the same level as you, otherwise you can really get dragged down in the mire. But I like to help people that are starting out, but that's not where I'm going to get help for myself. You know, I can mentor people. I teach people. I charge money. I teach people. If you want writing lessons, look on my website. But in a writing group, I'm looking for, you know, equality. So when you find the right group, I mean, it's really cool because we're like-minded. You know, you don't have to write the same thing, but you can, as long as there's passion in the writing.
Yeah.
You know, although I don't want to ever, some things I don't want to read at all. But but mostly no, I'm pretty chill with it. So I do like groups, but then, oh God, I'm in this Howard Stern fan group on Facebook, and it's okay a little bit, but like they're so stupid. A lot of them, they say the same stupid things over and over again. You know?
Oh yeah, I couldn't be a part of that anymore.
But once in a while, there's something funny, you know. But mostly no. Like it's sad because you want to really bond with them because they love what I love. You know, we all love the same thing, but they're kind of empty. A lot of them. Yeah.
Like I said, I don't do groups. There's one group that I liked in my whole life. I am 53 and I've only found one group. It was a book club. And the people in the book club actually discussed the books.
I like that.
And picked interesting books that I never would have picked.
That's good.
So I really liked that.
That's very good. Yeah, because usually they just like don't even talk about the book and just drink wine.
Well, I did you come to that other one with
No.
in Rockville Center?
No.
Oh my God. It was just ladies drinking wine.
Well, that's mostly what they are.
Not discussing the book, talking about their husbands and their kids. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not here for that.
Right.
You know,
they're just using the book club as an excuse to get together and complain about their lives.
That's
and drink.
what you have friends for. You know, then don't call it a book club. That really irritated me because I read a lot, and that's what I want to discuss.
Right. I think it would be good to discuss books. I think it's one of course, being a writer. I think that's an amazing thing to do. So how come you don't go to it anymore?
I think that, you know, I'm not really sure what happened. I don't know if it was COVID. I don't know what happened.
That'll kill it.
It was at work.
Oh.
And it just eventually fizzled out. I'm not really sure why. But we had a good few years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't get it back together?
No, things are very different after COVID.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would work.
Yeah. You can't go back.
No.
But, you know, they always say you can't go home, but then Bon Jovi said, who says you can't go home? So I do actually like that song.
The wisdom of John Bon Jovi.
I actually like that song, even though it sounds country-ish. Like, I don't like country music at all.
I don't know what
twangs.
song that is.
You had to have heard it.
What is
Who
it?
says you can't go home?
Yes. Okay, I have heard it.
But it's very twangy.
Yeah. I'm not a big Bon Jovi person.
I was a mad about him, but not anymore. When he cut his hair, it was like all over. I just love that hair.
Yeah. I was on board for Slippery When Wet because I remember my boyfriend at the time moved to Georgia and he took my cassette
Oh, no.
of Slippery When Wet.
That was mean.
And I was so mad.
What a jerk.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the tour when I actually got to go backstage and meet Bon Jovi. That was exciting.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It was very cool. But I was hysterical. I was like hyperventilating.
Oh, my.
He's like, someone take a picture of me and this girl before she has a heart attack. That's what he said. Because the other girls all went for Richie Sambora.
Yeah, I definitely went
It's a little
for Richie
skinny
Sambora.
thing. A little, like nothing.
You know, I like that heroin chic look.
Yeah, I don't like that. Maybe because my father was a heroin addict.
Yes.
I don't know. We have our types, you know.
Yes.
But once in a while we converge. Like Keith Ledger, we both said was
he's Heath Ledger.
I mean, my God. But
if you don't think he's attractive, I don't know what's wrong with you.
He just has that magnetism. It's
Yes.
it's not just looks, you know, it's like this magnetism.
Yes.
You know. Wow. Oh, by the way, forget about the Joker movie. It's a musical, I found out. I asked my son, I said, how was the Joker movie? He said it kind of sucked. I go, was it a musical? He goes, yes, and I don't know why that was.
That's really weird. I can't imagine why it would
Because
be.
Lady Gaga wanted to sing, I guess. I don't know.
You know how I feel about musicals.
I just don't. I think that in a especially no, I don't like a movie. The only movie musical I liked was Rent because it was the same thing, you know. But it ruins the tension. Like I don't want to see people sing. The Joker shouldn't be singing.
No.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
I can't imagine how they did that, but whatever.
I don't. It's so stupid.
The first one was so good.
Well, I knew because he doesn't do good sequels.
What sequels did he do?
The Hangover. It's the same guy.
Oh, the director. I thought you meant Joaquin Phoenix.
No, the writer director.
Oh, okay. Yeah, The Hangover
was terrible.
sequels.
He can't do sequels. He should just stick with the one thing and leave it alone. monkey instead of a baby. No. And then the kid actually lost part of his finger. That wasn't funny at all.
Oh, I have no memory. I know I saw it, but I have no memory of it.
It was the same trope story, but with like, you can only escalate. You can't de-escalate when you write things. So and also, I was very sad because the dentist was getting married, but not to the woman from the first movie.
Oh.
And what was her name? What's that woman's actress's name? She's very famous.
Heather Graham.
That's it. I knew it was a Heather something. And there was no explanation, right? I mean, there should have been. All of a sudden, he's married an Asian woman where were they? In like the Philippines? No, I don't know where they were.
Yeah.
Somewhere in Asia.
I kind of felt that way about the Karate Kid movies.
I've never seen
Like he was all about Elizabeth Shue in the first movie. All about it. The whole movie was based on that he loved this girl.
She was a shoo-in.
Yes. And then the second one, he's like in Japan and he doesn't give a shit about her.
He the guy, the Hangover guy, must have got the idea because he also used an Asian chick.
Yeah, I was like, what happened?
That's awful. There needs to be a reason. Yeah. Even if they said she died or something, it's terrible.
Like,
but
good Lord, Daniel-san, what happened?
Yeah, that's no good. I don't like the Karate Kid. I'm like not interested in the Karate Kid.
Oh, I loved the Karate Kid.
All I know is I can quote it because I always do quote things I haven't seen. Wax on, wax off.
I was very much a Ralph Macchio fan.
No. You see, he's a little too skinny, too. No.
It's my thing.
No. But, there's certain things I've just skipped completely that most people have seen.
Yeah.
And that was one of them.
I was very into that.
Oh, my, I'm losing my voice. How long have we been talking?
I think it's time to wrap it up.
When we went completely from the 12 steps to Ralph Macchio? What's it?
I guess it's Macchio. I don't even know.
You say Macchio, I say Macchio. Let's call the whole thing off. Hold on, I got to get my quote. I'm trying to type in my computer. Trying to type and nothing's happening. Let's see.
Should I just go on with my quote?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go
so
ahead.
Mine is by someone named Dana Boenti. I don't know if I'm saying the name right, and I don't even know who they are.
Oh dear.
It's a man. That's how much I know.
All right.
And I did research this, and I couldn't even tell you. I forgot. I mean, and it was like 2 days ago. But anyway, it's if you don't know someone who's had a problem with addiction, you will.
Oh my. What does that mean?
Because most people have some sort of addiction.
But why, if you've made it this far?
I don't know.
It's like, they're gunning for you.
I know. It's a little dark, but...
That is a little dark.
You know, I'm a little dark.
But don't you think that the more important time, it's bad to know someone when you're like in your formative years and when you're getting married, and like all that stuff is the worst time to know someone with addiction because it really affects you in whatever way. So if you meet someone when you're older, you would have the ability to like not entertain them.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you would also probably have more empathy for them than you would normally have.
Empathy. I have empathy I've always had empathy for everybody, but I'm thinking more in terms of they're going to come and like, photobomb my life. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Sometimes they do.
I think of it only that way.
Yes. I mean.
Oh, I dated that other guy too.
Who?
Oh, the one that was horrible. The one.
Which one?
His name's Red in my book.
I have to tell you, I didn't like most of them, so
he's
that's
the one,
not really helping
He was
me.
basically the worst one.
The worst one?
Yeah.
And it wasn't Trip?
No, Trip wasn't the worst one. It ends... Trip, I was in love with Trip.
Yeah, still wasn't a big fan.
Okay, but no, this was a very...
The Shuffler?
No. Was he... Oh, what did we call him in the book?
I don't know. I don't know, but I met him and I was like, look at those shoes. You can't take something
You're like, those are old men's shoes.
It's like, he's got to go.
Oh, he's a very judgmental man.
Who? Give me a hint.
I met him through Joe. He was like Joe's friend.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
now I know exactly who you're
yeah.
talking about. And yeah, he was bad
He
news.
was very bad news.
Yeah.
So if you want to read about him, you can read about him in the book, but I don't want to talk about it here. That's too much for me to talk about.
He was pretty awful.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess I'm going to quote J.P. Morgan, which is so weird because I was just saying I wasn't, but might as well go for the money. He says, is J.P. a guy? Yeah, right?
I think so, but I'm not sure.
Wasn't there also a woman, something J.P. Morgan on that used to be on Family Feud? Not
Yeah,
Family
like
Feud.
Match Game.
Yeah. Wasn't that J.P.
Yeah, what was
Morgan?
her name? No, it wasn't J.P. Morgan, but it was something like
Something
that.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
The first step towards getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are.
Nice.
Yeah. And I think that is the basic thing. Like that's the thing about getting past the things, recovering from whatever, you have to be the one to get yourself there. You can't rely on all these things are tools, and I certainly used all these tools. I mean, I'm not putting anything down at all, but I think the mistake is just to say, okay, I found this and this is going to fix me. You have to fix yourself.
You got to do the work.
You got to do the work. All right. So we're done?
We're done?
All right.
All right.
Arrivederci.
Bye for now.